Afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon to all the participants. Today we had two sessions. One by Mr. Manjunath. He spoke about blue ocean strategy for manufacturing sector. And second session was by Mr. Mahesh B.R. Pandit. And now we are into fourth day, third session. And it's a yoga session by Sannyasi Swasti Murthy. And he has a vast experience in the field of yoga and meditation. And really, we are very happy to have Sannyasi Mataji on this occasion. I welcome Mataji to the session, and I welcome all the participants. Now, I request Mrs. Aparna to introduce the session speaker, Mataji Swastimurthy. It's over to Aparna. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. A warm good afternoon to one and all. I'm happy to introduce our resource person, Sannyasi Swastimurthy, to the gathering. Sannyasi Swastimurthy, the Acharya of Body Temple Yoga Center at Shimoga, Karnataka, has been initiated into Karma Sannyas Diksha by her Guru Swami Niranjan Anand Saraswati, founder of Bihar Yoga Bharti and Satyananda Yoga. He is the successor of Parahamsa Swami Satyananda Saraswati, Bihar School of Yoga, Munger, Bihar. It's an honor and proud moment to share that Swami Niranjan Anand Saraswati is honored with Padma Bhushan Award, and Bihar School of Yoga received Prime Minister's Award for the outstanding contribution for promotion and development of yoga 2019. Sannyasi Swastimurthy has dedicated her life in spreading yoga taught by her guru. Rarely we find people who have dedicated their lives for the welfare of others and can proudly say that she is the one among them. She has been teaching yoga since 3 decades. Various classes are conducted at Body Temple Yoga Center Shimoga, like Hatha Yoga, Sat Anand Yoga, meditation practices, pranayama. Also, many are benefited with the pre and postnatal sessions. Other practices like Yoga Nidra, relaxation techniques, Satkamas, detoxing, children's yoga are also part of the classes here. And therapeutic yoga sections has been favorite of many here as it's one-to-one session. Many doctors also advise their patients for yoga therapy conducted here at Body Temple Yoga Center. She has been guiding force of many aspirants in their lives. Chantings like Mahamrutyunjana Mantra, Rama Charitra Manas, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and many other spiritual readings have been playing vital role in upliftment of one's spiritual life. She is committed in providing relevant approaches, counseling, guiding, inspiring, and motivating many aspirants as that one knows the real inner strength and healthiest side of oneself. Even I have taken pre and postal natal sessions from her, and we had got the maximum benefits from it. So I'm very honored to have Mataji in this session. So now I request Mataji to start the yoga session. Over to Mataji.
Hari Om. Thank you for your sweet and short introduction, and I'm happy that you remember all those things which you took the class.
Yes, Mataji.
I welcome all the people here and my good wishes to them. I greet the chief of the NES patrons and the principal of the CLM college, the chairpersons, the coordinators, and the organizing committee. So they have chosen me as the AICTE Atal FDP Blue Ocean Strategy as a resource person. And once again, I am very thankful to you all people. Hari Om Tat Sat. So I like to start this session with a Om chanting. and a little prayer. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री
ಇವಾಗ ಶುರುವಾಗಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಯೋಗ ಇದೆ ಯೋಗ
योगं शरणं गच्छामि सत्यं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि गुरुं शरणं गच्छामि नाहं कर्ता गुरुं कर्ता ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् हरि ओम् sir. So we all are met here at this hour discussing the science of yoga, which is a human being to lead a very happy and healthy life. So this ayam belong to the parampara of Shivananda Swami, Satyananda Swami and Swami. This yoga parampara was started by Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh. He was a doctor with a very highly qualification, and when he was suffering, he changed his profession and he joined the service. He took sannyas of the Shankaracharya lineage and got the name as Swami Shivananda Saraswati. Started Divine Life Society at Rishikesh. And his disciple, Swami Satyananda Saraswati, started this Bihar School of Yoga. Bihar School of Yoga or the Satyananda Yoga. Swamiji left his place after his education and all, and took the Diksha from Swami Shivananda Saraswati. And later he started in 64 his own center at Munger. That's called Bihar School of Yoga. And he started the new system, Bihar School, Bihar Yoga or the Satyananda Yoga. What is the difference of all the yogas and Satyananda Yoga? In Satyananda Yoga, a man is taught complete practices to become a complete personality. He has taught that the man, unless his body and mind has coordination or they are having a rapport, he can't be a perfect man. He started this Satyananda Yoga to bring the awareness of human potential inside them. These are the people are intelligent, people have got knowledge, but they are not able to use it in a right order. So this Satyananda Yoga gives you a good picture of yourself and the practice of asana, pranayama, pratyahara, shatkarmas, meditations and yoga nidra. So it is a capsule for the whole human being. If he teaches in this Satyananda Yoga, we are the beings and we have to become what? We have, all the people have their ambitions and desires, and if they don't get fulfilled, man feels disgusted, he feels depressed, And these are the negative feelings. One has to take out these negative feelings, and with this, he has given a different, many methods in yogic practices. Usually, yoga is for total health. That is, his body and mind are in a very healthy conditions. When the negative aspects of life don't touch him, they don't disturb him. So this is the yoga. Actually, the word yoga means union of body and mind. If this union is not there, then there is a lot of disturbance in our day-to-day life. This yogic science consists of so many practices like asanas, pranayama, and shatkarmas, meditation, and every person has to practice this to face the daily life. If they don't, if they only practice when they are under some ailments or illness, then it will go. But again, if they continue the same kind of life, they feel very disturbed. And every time they are going to practice yoga and they are leaving it. So this should not be done. There should be a continuity in the practice. So the present life is very difficult because the dimensions of the world working has changed with digital introduction, the technology and all. Man is feeling, some of the population is feeling that they lack something. They are very behind. So this so fast the world is changing. Anybody who say, oh, I don't have time for practice of yoga. And this is not only in our country, it is the global crisis. Everywhere man finds himself very busy. And one of the things is the world is progressing very fast. Ordinary man cannot pursue the fastness of the fast change. Then we have all these natural calamities. Then we have these economic problems and financial problems. It's like this, we whole human population is affected one way or the other. This is outside also and inside also. Outside is the man speaks, we speak to somebody, we go to work, we go our life needs, necessities, all these things is outside. Inside is how we are coping with the mind, how we are coping with our condition, finance, energetic condition, mind, emotion, spirituality, how man is dealing with all these things. He has got little time and little energy. With this, he is coping up with so much of work, and so this gives him a lot of pressure because there is a time limit. One day has got only 24 hours, and these 24 hours he has to do to satisfy his personal needs, to satisfy his personal desires, and he has to satisfy his ambitions also. So this stressful life of man has to be managed. Actually, if there is no stress in life, you cannot find your potential. What potential you have, what intellectual level you have, you cannot find out. So life is a struggle. But when it is too much, then mentally man goes to depression. And physically man gets headache, gastricities, and diabetes, and thyroid, and so many kinds of diseases. And there's a aspect of fear develops. When this fear develops, man becomes very nervous and he's confused. His daily life also he is confused and he does something wrong and he cannot put things in order. And therefore it takes this shape our tension. So this our tensions becomes emotional, sometimes mental, sometimes bodily, like you have pain in the head, pain in the neck. So these are the results of this stress. So you have to struggle, but don't allow the struggle to and don't neglect it. Next thing is how you control this stress. Stress should be controlled and managed by ourselves. We are telling one secret of this, our body and these problems and intelligence. So our body is something which is working all the time from birth to death. A man cannot sit quietly. If he's not working physically, at least mentally, he is not. So the fun in this is the body and the mind. They only bring you stress and tensions. Your own body brings stress and tension to you, and your own body suffers. And your body itself, your body and mind itself has to find a clue, or it has to find a method to get rid of this stress. How surprising, isn't it? Wonderful it is. This body has to, you have to remember this. If you remember this, it will be very easy to manage your stress conditions or your tensions. So now you have to know what is the skeleton, muscular structure, and the organs, everything inside. And the mind is what it is, in kind of energy. It will be working inside. And it will work throughout the body. It will be all the time thinking, thinking, thinking. Whether it is thinking positive or negative, we don't know. Whether it is thinking something useful or not, we don't know. It is just thinking. And we are not aware, and we are not analyzing why my body is thinking. So this body and mind, when this thought process, it brings us different levels of pressure, of happiness. Negative, not negative, it brings us happiness, it brings us peace, it brings us enjoyment, it brings us entertainment, it brings us satisfaction and so many things because of mind. This mind has to be done very well for the management of difficulties in our life. Next is we have our emotional peace. So the emotional thoughts with our children, with our spouse, with our parents, or with any other things, objects. So these are also things creating different thoughts and they may result in the attachments or detachments. So we should be aware of this. So Paramahansa Sri Satyananda Ji, he gave us two things. First, he said, first you love yourself. If you love yourself, you will find many methods to make this body happy. And second thing, he said, you have to be aware. Develop awareness, and this awareness can give you a lot of strength and discriminating power, analyzing power. So the two things important in our life is we have to love ourselves and we have to be aware all the time. So next thing he said, he gave us three things in life to follow, and they are serve, love, and give. Says serve. Start serving from the family. At home, we serve each other. In society, our neighbors. So, we can serve ourselves practicing yoga, keep the body healthy and fit. You can find out whether you have got weakness or you have got lot of strength, whether your mind is weak or whether your mind is strong, and what are your wishes, desires. And then you can keep awareness that what is happening. When you try to be aware that what is happening in your body, whether it is suitable for you or not, how your muscles are moving, how your joints are moving, and is it benefiting you or it is harming you, you should be all the time aware. So for this, to follow all this, you have to put a timetable. See, in the colleges, if you don't have a timetable, how will the organization run? There is no discipline. Everything will go in a haphazard way. Today, we are living our life like this only. We are not put a timetable for us, and we are just going as it is. We are spending time as we like, as this mind likes, and we are just landing up in the night at somewhere. It's so much of workload and so much of worries, so much of anxiety. We don't even know how we developed. So every day night we are like this, and so many days if they are spent, then you become so ill with the thoughts that you feel that I should go away from somewhere. But don't do that. You have to fight with the things. We are all intellectuals and we have to find a way for every problem. And they say there is a solution for every problem. And you can find, but only it takes time. Only thing is you have to dedicate some time for yourself. So we dedicate time to speak to your friend, we dedicate time to go out, we dedicate time just window shopping. So all these things, though there is a tight schedule, we do all these things like this. You should love yourself and dedicate at least half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the night for yourself. Why do you want to spend half an hour for yoga for yourself? So that when you are working, whether your personal life or your professional life, you give more to the profession, more to your personal life. You take out your potential which is inside you. There is lot of potential. They say, there is a saying in our Hindu philosophy that man is an embodiment of soul. We are all Atma Swarupas. That means Atma is a part of a spark of the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul, what we know about the Supreme Soul? Supreme Soul, we have to know, we know people from their work. So we know the Supreme Soul, or we call God. This God by His work. And His work is we can see throughout our life. We see the trees, we see the mountains, we see the flowers, we see the rivers. And man cannot create this. Very simple thing. Though science has improved so much, man is not able to manufacture blood. He has done so much. But only our machine inside, digestive system, can manufacture blood with the food. To look at the food is different and the blood is different. So the spark of this Supreme Atma, the Paramatma, is in us, and that is the soul or the Atma. So how powerful we have to be. So we have all the potential inside. And next is we are the Prema Swarupas, love embodiments. And we don't know, we don't recognize this. But we can feel sometimes, see, when we are born, if you see a few days baby, you feel like smiling. The baby did not smile at you, and you never even thought what the baby is. Just as soon as you see, you smile and you are happy. From where did this happiness come? This happiness came because there is love inside you. As soon as it saw, the baby is without thoughts, no thoughts, nothing. It is only just one. And when you see, it is the love. Prema Swarupa, it is also Prema Swarupa, and you are also Prema Swarupa. Soon the rapport took place, and you have smiling and you are happy. The third thing is we are all Shakti Swarupas. That we every day, every moment we have recognized. What I am telling is my Shakti. What you are listening is your Shakti. What you are understanding is also your Shakti. So we are the embodiments of energy. This is the truth. In my prayer, I said Satyam Sharanam Gacchami. Once you know the truth, you can go to a very great heights. And this is our own truth. It is not somebody's truth. It is our own truth. We have to find out deep. The sadhus, sannyasis, and the ancient seers, they did the same thing. They did tapas. They sat in for several days into meditation to find out what was their reality. And they have given us. Now it is ready-made for us. And we have to just go and understand it. If you know something, it is of no use. It is only thing is we have to understand. My guru used to say, जानना तो जरूर है, मगर समझना बहुत ही जरूर है. So you have to understand things. When you understand things, you can use them. If you know them, you cannot use them. If I say about yoga, you say, oh, I know. Then you will not know, you will not be making its use of yoga. But you listen, you understand it, then you can make use and you can make your life beautiful. Everybody today is going after happiness and peace. From where it has to get? It has to get from the inside. But man's working, it has become very different than the 50 years ago or 25 years ago. There is a story of a Muslim saint. He was given a pot to fill water. So he was drawing water from the well and he was filling the pot. He is doing since 1 hour and the pot was not getting filled. The people started laughing at him. He said, why are you laughing? Then they said, see, from 1 hour you are filling this pot and this pot is cracked and the water is leaking. And you are just filling it several times with several buckets. How will it fill? The mullah said, see, my work is to fill the pot. My master has not told me to see whether the water is leaking or whether it is going in the pot. So this is how the people are working today. They're least bothered about the result. They're just working from morning to evening. What is the result and whether it is beneficial to them or whether not beneficial, whether this work is harming them or is this giving loss to them, they're not thinking about it. So this mullah was not thinking whether there was no water and it was leaking. He was just thinking that I have to fill the pot. That is my work. So don't work like that. You find out what is the result, whether you are benefited or whether you are at loss. So we have to go in this way. For this, we have to put a discipline in our life. Swami Satyananda used to say that every man wishes for sukha, shanti and samruddhi in his life. That is happiness, peace and prosperity. Happiness is he feels that I have done so much and I should be happy. Happiness for every man is different. And peace is, there are no many thoughts. He is so peaceful. Why he wants that? Because the nature of man is creating. He likes new things. And so find out this, his faculty of brain to work, he wants some peace. So this third is samruddhi. Whatever he does, prosperity. He needs prosperity. Oh, I was yesterday like this. Today I have to grow. Prosperity has come to us from the birth. And today we have prospered so much. Like this prosperity is there. And every day man thinks of this. And for this, he has to practice yoga, asanas, pranayam. Why is it? Because he likes to be a supreme person, prospering. He wants to be perfect. He wants to be ideal to his children, to his family and society. And he also feels that he has to do something for the society. He has to make name, fame. So these are the ambitions common man is having. But there are special people having many different ambitions. Like my guru, Swami Niranjananandji, he came to the ashram to Swamiji at age of 4. At that age, children play and they don't even know to play properly with the toys. They can't even narrate something properly. At that age, Swami Niranjananandji, he came to take to his guru and he took sannyas. At the age of 12, he was sent to other countries to spread yoga. For 13 years, he went on traveling throughout the world, spreading yogic knowledge. Later, he returned to Monge and he was initiated into the Paramhamsa Parampara. Then he was found the World Yoga University called the Bihar Yoga. And today he is also a Tapasvi, has done Panchagni. And he has given us a different method because he says now the people don't have time for everything. They blame the time. You cannot blame the time because time is moving. You have to move with it. If you don't move with it, you will be left behind. If you move with that, you will be successful. So he has told us that the basic thing of this world is sound. The Om sound, and on this sound only the earth is moving, the other planets are moving, and we are also under the influence of sound. So this sound, he says that sound is very important. You can chant something, read aloud. When during the examination, see children, if they don't understand, they read aloud. Why? Because when they read aloud, their own voice through their ears goes and they are able to recall it properly, remember it properly, understand it properly. So this sound plays a great role in our body. So Swamiji method called SWAN, SWAN. SWAN, S stands for your strength, W stands for your weakness, A stands for your ambition, and N stands for your needs. So you can divide it. It is not just practicing asana and you physically fitness, not like that. It says even a man, if he's physical fit, he's healthy, he doesn't have illness, still he is not a perfect person. His mind is lacking. His mind may have headache, or he may have shout at somebody, or he may be angry with somebody. He may get frustrated with himself. So he is not a complete man, happy man. So when his mind and his body both are perfect, then the practice of yoga is really useful to him. So this SWAN principle, everybody can work with, and it doesn't take much time. Wherever you are sitting, you can cut. You find out it different situations, circumstances, like in your home. Why you got frustrated? You can think whenever you are sitting, find out what the cause of the frustration. You have to spend some strength. What is your strength? Are you weak to have this frustration? What is your weakness? And when it is not satisfied, and man has got some ambition, and when he cannot reach it, or he cannot find way or a path to reach his ambition or to fulfill his ambition, then only a man gets frustrated. His intellectual level goes down. He feels I am helpless. What was the need at that moment? What was the need? So he should have peace of mind. He should feel happy. That's what he wanted, but he did not have that. His desire was not fulfilled. So he became frustrated. He became angry like this. So different situations. You want to reach and you don't get a vehicle at the proper time. Then you think, you get upset, you get frustration. Then again go apply the SWAN principle. Why don't I have strength? Don't I have, here strength becomes patience. Don't I have patience? If the train is late, I wait for some times. Cannot I do something for that short time? So this is what the SWAN principle. You discriminate yourself, you analyze yourself to find out in different situations. Like in the, for example, women, if they're upset in the kitchen, they don't have something they need to prepare the breakfast. They cannot be upset. They can find an alternative text, what it is, and they can make out. They bring. Then students, if they become, if they think that they don't know the answer, they become nervous. And this creates fear in them. When they apply this, they come to know that their weakness was there, and they can develop this weakness by practicing deep breathing or recalling when they were studying. So they can find out a way. And for this, we have to divide our personality. Like what personality we belong to. There are 4 kinds of personalities in human beings. One is dynamic. They're very active. They cannot sit for sometimes from morning to night. They keep on doing something other than. The second one is intellectual personality. They're studying, they're getting knowledge, they are always learning something intellectual. Their work will be, they usually sit or they stand. So this is intellectual personality. Third one is the emotional personality. They are very soon worried and they are very soon happy. They want to do something which brings them happiness, which brings them, which gives them energy. These are the emotional personalities. The last one is spiritual personality. They want to get involved into some practices like chantings, they knowing what is the spirituality, how strong they are spiritually, like this. So these 4 personalities. You have to find out to which personality you belong to. Then you can choose whether it is asana practice. Say for dynamic personality, if they're doing asanas, they are becoming more dynamic. For them, they have to practice some milder pranayama, meditations. The intellectual personalities they have, because they most of the time they're sitting, their work is sitting. They have to practice some asanas and pranayams. The spiritual personalities, they have to evolve. They want to go to a very great height. They have to go for some asanas, pranayam, and meditations. Then the emotional personalities, they think so much. For them, the thinking should burn. For them, they have to practice asanas and pranayam as well as yoga nidra. So they have to choose from so much in yoga for their personality. Next, in these 4 kind of personality, there are some personalities who always think of others, outside world. They never think of inside. So you have to find something to find out the inside, inside of yourself. Whether how powerful, what is your potential, what can you do. So for this, there is one system in yoga, and that is Swadhyaya. So Swadhyaya, in Swadhyaya, it is a self-study. If you translate from the Sanskrit to English, it is a self-study. Here, in the night, when you are calm, before going to bed, you just close your eyes and You witness yourself. From morning you woke up, what all you did, till the end of the day, till the night. You are a witness to your own actions. You are a witness to your own thoughts. You are a witness to your own emotion. And so you come to know what is right and what is wrong. At that time you feel. Every day you are practicing this swadhyaya. So 10, you will repeat so many mistakes 10 times, 11 times. But after that you will try to improve. So your personality goes on improving. You are evolving. And slowly, you go for meditations. So it will evolve your personality inside. You come to know what you are, what is your potential. You remember that we are Atma Swarupas, what all the potential we must be having them. So we have to put this potential into work. So this is our nature. Like in Sanskrit, in yoga we say we sattvic personality, rajasic personality, and tamasic personality. The rajasic, sattvic personality, they know they're calm and cool. They don't want to get into arguments. They want to do their work. They don't get involved into this too much of arguments and too much of. So these are they don't involve so much in any other activity than their own. And the Rajasic people, they're ambitious, they like to arguments. And Tamasic people, they're very dull, they're lazy. So yeah, these are the three personalities according to you. So find out which personality you belong to. Then you can choose. So this one principle is something like knowing your strength, knowing your weakness, knowing your ambitions, and knowing your needs. It is in different situations. Like family life, you have got different strength, weakness, ambition, and need. Then in a professional life, you have different strength and weakness and ambition and need. So we have to go find out in different situations in society and doing something for the country, in your research work, in your creative work. So you can find. But on the whole, you have to keep yourself very healthy physically and mentally. After knowing all these things, you have to decide that what kind of life you like. Though these are the things I have told, that how human beings are and what will be the personalities, but you have got all the choice. So we have given you so much chances. Swamiji has given you so much chances to improve, and you have to make a choice. So your choice should be very good. But Swamiji has given us some things which you have to do every day, and you will improve your personality. And for this, he says that you have to start the day with good sound. Sound is mantra. First is, as soon as you wake up in your bed itself, don't go out and see something. Don't give food to the senses. So before that, in the bed itself, you have to chant some Mrityunjay mantra for good health. Then Gayatri mantra for your intelligence, to improve your intelligence. Then the third is you require braveness to face everything. So you have to pray Shakti, Durga. So these three things you have to do early in the morning. Mantra of Mrityunjay and Gayatri mantra and the mantra for Durga. There are 32 names of Durga. If you chant them, you get full strength. As I told you that we are Shakti Swarupas, Prema Swarupa, and we are Atma Swarupa. So you have to start the day with the mantra. Second thing is you start practicing asana. Even if it is 15 minutes, even 3 times you practice one asana, that is enough. But you have to experience the benefit of asana. And you can practice the pranayama. So he has given a schedule for you. And he says the last thing is you have to practice meditation. This is the practice given to us. Along with this, we have to study a holy book, whether it is few lines or a page or 10 pages or whatever it is. We have to study. Our Swami Paramahamsa Satyananda Saraswati used to say that this chanting and reading these books, we evolve our mind and body together. So before meditation, in a day you find some time to read this book like Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana. These two books are very much, they deal with so many consequences of our life, which was repeated in Rama's life. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Paramatma says how to lead, how to fight. And every day we are fighting with every situation. He was also taught to fight. Paramahamsa Swami Satyananda Saraswati used to tell us that Bhagavad Gita is the blueprint of your life. It is a brochure of to your life. So we have to read at least one shloka, understand it. And in the first chapter, you see, in the first chapter, Arjuna, he sees his relatives and people opposite to him ready to fight. Though he was prepared for the fight better than anybody, when he saw them all, he became so nervous. He became so nervous that he could not even speak. He could not even hold his bow and he could not even stand. So he sat and asked Krishna Paramatma, Bhagwan, please save me from this fight. So now we are also in the same position, but we are fighting with different kinds of tensions and stress. So we should fight with them with our intelligence and calmness. Reduce your thoughts. The asanas practice, there are some talks, the methods in our yogic asanas which detox our body. First thing is we have to purify our body. So we take the food and so many toxins are developed, and these developed toxins has to be removed from the body. If you don't remove them, they cause us diseases. Diseases of the stomach, diseases of the muscular and disease of the lungs. So these things, toxins, there are so shat karmas. The shat karmas are the practices like stomach wash, intestine wash, then the nasal wash, like you pour water into one nostril and it comes out to the. So these are the shat karmas. At least once in a month you have to practice. There are so many centers, yoga centers, you can visit them and practice them. Second is pranayama. In pranayama, you have to practice, I am telling you generally, but for better is you have to contact a good yoga teacher. We have got Bihar School of Yoga, ashrams and centers throughout India and throughout the world also. So every city has got a center. So you can contact your nearest center and you can register your name and learn this. So Shat Karmas and then pranayam, you have to lie down and deep breathe. Why I am saying lie down is when you lie down, you come to know what are the body parts which are participating in your breath, like your back, like your chest, whether when you breathe in, you expand your lungs or not. So the chest must expand. So these are the things you have to aware. So practice deep breathing. From today only you can practice deep breathing. You just lie down and deep breathe. And so you will know the benefit of this. Second practice, which is necessary for this, our body and mind, is Nadi Shodhana. So Nadi Shodhan is you just close the right nostril, breathe into the left inhalation and close the left and exhale to the right. And again breathe into the right and close the right nostril, exhale to the left. And so this is one cycle of Nadi Shodhan, and this is also called as Anuloma and Viloma. Nadis are the things. Why should we cleanse this Nadi? Nadi Shodhan. Nadis are our very subtle. They are nerve systems and they cannot be seen, but they are the one which carry the pranic energy. We say a man is dead. We say iske pran prakheru ud gaye. We say he's dead. He lost his prana. He lost his energy. Why? Because this prana is the one very vital energy inside our body. We cannot make our heartbeat start or control the heartbeat. We cannot start our digestive system. We cannot start our circulatory system. We have no hand in that. This prana shakti, it works all inside. All the organs are under the energy of prana. So when we do this pranayama, whatever requirements of our body, inside our body, this prana shakti covers and it works. So practice of pranayama, especially in Nadi Shodhan, where all these links goes, the channel goes, this Nadi Shodhan, it clears these nadis. They are called the nadis in which the prana flows. Acts like we call veins where the blood flows. But these nadis are not seen, but they are responsible for our working of our body and our intelligence, our intuition, and our connection with the God. As when this prana is reduced, man goes to coma. When this prana it cannot stay, the nadis are blocked, then man dies. So this is pranayama. So you must do Anuloma, Viloma, or Nadi Shodhan, then deep breathing, and you can do Brahmari. Brahmari is very good, where it will remove the tensions within few seconds. In this, you plug your ears by your forefinger, like this index finger. You breathe in, and as you breathe out, you have to produce a humming sound. You breathe in. This you can do in your staff room also, wherever it is, and immediately it gives you a relaxation feeling. So now we go for meditation. I'll give you instruction for the meditation. You can practice this at home anytime when you are free. But these practices should be done on empty stomach. For meditation, you have to sit in a position which is very comfortable for you, because during meditation, you are not going to move. You are not going to be disturbed by your physical movements. So you sit in Siddhasana, Padmasana, or whatever asana it is comfortable for you. And then you keep your hands in Jnana Mudra or Yogchin Mudra and concentrate on your breath. Close your eyes and feel the muscles in your body are relaxed. They're loose and soft and smooth. Then you follow your breath, the normal breath, which is going in and out. Still you will be disturbed because when your eyeballs move, what happens is there is a disturbance in the brain and there will be no concentration. So you have to close your eyes and keep your eyesight at the eyebrow center or at the tip of the nose. When you keep your eyesight at the eyebrow center or the tip of the nose, what happens is Your retina, it should be just on that spot and there will be no disturbance in the brain. Now you follow your normal breathing. You are breathing in and breathing out. So there is one sound, natural sound. And the yogis and the rishis, they did this meditation. Natural side is when you breathe in, there a sound goes on and that is so. And when you breathe out, there is the sound comes as hum. So this is called as Soham meditation, Ajapa Japa. So you breathe in and you hear. When your eyes are closed, your concentration is at your eyebrow center. Then you can, when you breathe in, you can listen to the sound. Is your inspiration, you have got so. When you expiration, you get hum. So when you inhale, you will be listening the sound so, and when you exhale, you will be listening to the sound hum. You sit like this until your body is comfortable. Then slowly you come out of this position like this, slowly, for starting with 10 minutes. Once you start enjoying this, because that will be peaceful, you will have no thoughts, peace will be enter, and after this you will feel very, very happy. And you start doing for another 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So this increases. But I still say that whatever you like, you have to do for your personality, which is useful, you do. And you always know, Swamiji has told, Sukha, Shanti and Samruddhi, where you can get prosperity in your health and working potential. So you practice those things. So this is meditation. The next is the best and the most useful practice in your yoga is Yoga Nidra. There is a thing that when you have to lead a healthy life, you have to balance everything, your food, there is your behavior, that is achara, vichara, ahara, vihara and nidra. Sleep is very important. Every man has to sleep for 6 hours and that should be the night sleep only. It is not something that you sleep in early morning for 6 hours. You have to sleep in the night. That is between 11 and 3. You must sleep and you should get a sound sleep. 6 hours sleeps will keep you very healthy, energetic and active. So this Yoga Nidra is something like that. You just lie down as we do Savasana and then you are going to deep relax. Just like you relax your hand, you will relax your hand, your palm, only your right palm, then your only index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, like this very deep you go for relaxation. Then what happens? All the things which are settled, so many thoughts which are gone into from conscious level to subconscious level or unconscious level, and these all go away, which your body doesn't want to store. And you feel relieved. Not only this, so many, when you go for this, there is so many imaginations come to you when you are practicing Yoga Nidra. And then you fall asleep and you are relaxed. Small children say, when they are going to sleep, they don't want to sleep and they say, okay, tell us a story. The grandmother or grandfather, they tell one story. And they go into their world of fantasy. They imagine so many things and they are already asleep. So man also goes like this. So now I'll come to the last part of that is the asanas. And the asanas will be demonstrated to you now. And a few asanas, which are very beneficial. Very important part of our body is our back. And because we're working for longer time sitting these days, back is strained so much. So I'll teach you a few asanas for the back and for a few joints which are working too much. I mean, they are used in our body. Our body is like a machine only, and it has to be worked. These joints are like levers. So you sit in a comfortable position, stretch your hands, and then you do the finger movements. Starting with 5, you can start. Then once you fail, but be aware what you are feeling. Say a good stretch. And then you start working with your wrist movement, up and down, then rotation. This will help you a lot. If you are aware, you know the wrist will be strained so much. You are working with your computer, with the mouse, and you don't even think that what is damaged. Yes. Then we go for the shoulder rotation. Sitting and working the shoulders and the upper back is strained so much, and this relieves the strain and the fatigue inside the shoulders. Now we start with the asanas. Tadasana. It is a standing posture.
Participants, please ping to Subhash Kondkar to see the asana.
So Tadasana is nothing but a palm tree posture. So you stretch yourself as tall as possible. You're on your toes so that you can stretch a lot. So can this practice also 5 times in the beginning? Then you will know the benefit. You can do more times. It stretches your spine. Then you go for Tiryaktarasana. The next, that is the wind-blown palm tree posture. So here the spine is bent. Middle of the spine gets very much good stretch. Not only that, it is the main, but all your fingers, then elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, all the joints also get a good stretch. Now we practice Kati Chakrasana. This practice gives to very good twist to the spinal discs inside our spine. This also relieves fatigue and it relaxes your body. We practice Vrakshasana. This gives you stability. You can balance your mind, you can balance your body. So these asanas not only affect your physical body, but it also affects the mental body, your mind. So you stay for a few seconds, then increase the time, and you also have to be aware of the results of it. So now go to the sitting posture, Shashangasana. This relieves the strain in the mind, the frustration is relieved. You sit in Vajrasana. This is Shashangasana. Watch it. Then you go for the Marjari. Now we do Marjari Asana. Marjari cat pose. This also relieves the back and these asanas must be done with awareness and concentration and breath. This asana is very useful for ladies. When they feel weakness and when they're not well. You can do Shashank Asana, Marjari Asana, again go back to Shashank Asana and release the posture. Now you watch Bhujanga Asana, which is also relieving the upper back.
You should always end the session of asana by practicing Shavasana at the end. Shavasana is very simple. Anywhere you can practice. Anytime. Whenever you feel tired, you can practice. So it is only lying down in this posture, your feet apart and hands little bit away from your side and according to breath. You can count them. And I'm breathing in one, and I'm breathing out one, and I'm breathing in two, and I'm breathing out. Let this is not focus on breath. Relax the body. If you feel any problem, otherwise just the sitting will be more relaxed. Start again from the beginning. Asana considers action and Shavasana. So now you can practice at home. To get the benefit of yoga, you should make your house a place of calmness and relaxation. You should not speak, you should not take the office work or your work, professional work to home. You should not carry the load of the work to home. You forget the office, you forget your college, your study, everything when you go reach home. And you relax, you feel. And you should recall, you should talk to your mind, oh now I am reaching home, I must relax. I must feel cool and calm. Don't discuss different subjects at home. Don't discuss about any other people. And you are just enjoying the time, relaxation. Keep less things at home which will not disturb your eyes, and listen to your instrumental music that will also relax you. And then you have to divide the time, prepare for your profession, prepare for your family life, spend time with children, spend time with your parents, and spend time with your neighbors, society. But you have to make a timetable for all these things. So I told you about the sleep. Now you have to know, be particular about food, because when you eat, it gives you energy. What energy you need? You have to eat according to your profession. Usually we eat according to the place. Like now in Karnataka, we will have sambar rice like this. In North India, we'll have roti, all this. It is a traditional food. But along with this, we have to eat fruits and vegetables. And we should see if you are working physically too much, then we have to eat lots of carbohydrates, and protein should go to the body along with the minerals, and that is fruits and vegetables. If you are not, you are intellectual person, you are not eating, then you are less of these food and lots of vegetable and fruits. You have to keep your body very healthy, slim. Even if you are dieting, don't eat less. You are eating to keep your body healthy. That should always be in your mind. You should be strong. You should not become weak. People do, they say obesity, we eat very less. Oh, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. But you have to eat for strength. And if your obesity is there, then work. Practice asana, practice Surya Namaskara, burn the calories. But you have to maintain strength in the body. Don't skip your meals. Whatever you are eating, the morning breakfast, afternoon food, the night, evenings, if you are eating a fruit, and in the night, whatever you are having your dinner, finish it. But it should be light in the night. In the morning, you can have heavy breakfast. Afternoon, whatever you are eating, but eat according to your work, how much energy you require. So if a laborer, if we are given him some food with fruits and vegetables and little food, it will not be enough for him. He has to take lots of carbohydrates, proteins. His meal should be very heavy because of the physical work. And if like this, we have to, for children, we have to give a full balanced diet, fruits, vegetables, dry fruits, because they are growing. Growing people require a lot of vitamins and minerals and proteins. So our diet must be this, and you should eat very relaxed way. Enjoy the food. Just you're watching TV, you're speaking to somebody on the mobile and you're eating. You don't even know what you have eaten, how much you have eaten, and you don't even enjoy your food. When you put a morsel of food on your tongue, you should enjoy its taste. A saint has said, see, a person who cooks for 2 hours or 2.5 hours a meal, it takes 2 to 2.5 hours to cook. And if you don't keep it even for a few seconds on your tongue, how will you understand the taste of that? The effort of the person will be wasted. So you have to taste the food, enjoy the food, enjoy the taste. You remember the saliva and all these are the digestive juices. It has to come. Then the food will be assimilated in a very right way inside your body and you will have no problem. Secondly, you have to eat at the right time, like breakfast in the morning. Afternoon, you should eat between something 12 and 1, because at that time digestive juices are secreted in our body. If you eat sometime 4 o'clock or something or 5 o'clock your lunch, then how will be digested? It will be a waste because there are no digestive juices in our body. And then even the dinner, you have to finish it quite early, between 7 and before 7:30 you should finish your dinner. Otherwise, again, it will not be digested. You will have gastric problem. You will have indigestion. So the time and the food and the enjoyment of the food you should done. Don't speak until it is necessary while you are eating your food. So this is what a full yoga is, and you have to practice this one principle. It is really benefit for you because in every aspect you will become a good personality. You can develop a lot of
faculties inside your body, like thinking, like meditating, your spiritual aspect, your emotional aspect. You can go to a very higher level. You will be evolving all these capacities of your body. The second, see, when the current goes, we have some backup like inverters, something we keep. Even when you go you travel, we keep extra fuel like this. So for our body, the backup is prayers. Prayers, they work, they're very powerful and they are so helpful. And it is natural process. Always when we are in difficulty, nobody is there, we just start praying. So prayer is backup. So backup to our life is our prayer. Always keep this and pray from the depth of your heart. It's not something you are praying. Oh God, give me this. Don't make God your servant that I want this, I want that, please do this for me, do that. Make God, ask God for strength for wherever you are helpless. Find help from the God, strength for to continue your work. Don't feel dejected. Yes, that I am so much dejected. I'm in tension. Please help me, God. What should I do? And this prayer should come from the depth of the heart. Then it will be answered. So with special, I would like to tell something about children. The children are very important because tomorrow they will be the citizens of our country and the people only make the country. So the children must be put to practice of yogasanas. They must practice Surya Namaskar. They must lie down and practice Savasana. And they should improve their strength. And they should also, parents should also find out about the requirements of their children, whether they are feeling difficulty in learning or whether their attention is in the sports or they don't want to concentrate on this. These days they have got more problem because their classes are on the mobile phones. The schools are not running and the children having eye problems. They are strained with their eyes and they find it difficult to adjust to this position. So we have to relax their eye muscles. For that, they should lie down for some times in shavasana, and then relax their eyeballs, and then they can also do some walking inside the house. Okay, walking with a name, and they have to practice reading and writing and understand. If they don't understand, they have to be taught in a very polite way because already they are frustrated with this school, no school. They don't have friends, which they have already experienced it. So now they feel they are also having some tension. They are also frustrated. So we have to look for their after their emotional feelings and we have to make them happy. We have to make them understand the position and they have to feed well. They have to drink lot of water. So this is how you have to look after your children. And I thank you, Abhito. Questions? Okay.
Dear participants, please you can ask questions here, or it is better if you type your questions in the chat box. There is one question from sorry, one question by Miss Purnima D. Can you give more information about pranayama? Mataji, can you please give more information about pranayama?
The inner faculty of our body, like our heart and lungs, the digestion system, the circulation, all the inner faculty is run by the prana. And this prana comes to our body with our breath. When the breath is rhythmic, it enters, not like any time it is. So see, after our deep sleep and a good sleep, you feel so energetic. And you also find examples, see, after heavy food, you cannot do any work. You feel like lying down. Why? Because the pranic energy is busy in digesting. So one energy is there, it has to go from one place to another. So this pranic energy covers, and this pranayama, we have got different kinds of pranayama, like Bhastrika, that is breathe in and breathe out, fast. It expands your lungs and you increases the capacity of our breathe in and breathe out. Then we have got Shitali pranayama, which cools the body, and Kapalbhati, which heats, produces heat. So prana is something we have to get inside our body for internal work and for intellectual work. You have to consult a teacher for what work you are doing and how much of pranayama you can practice, for how many minutes, and what are the practices you have to practice. That will be better.
Thank you, Mataji. And we have another question from Manoj Kumar. How to control the desire of food and money with the help of yoga?
When you practice asanas, naturally you will be taking food which is necessary for your body and the quantity also. Food, some people are foodie people, you feel like, but when you practice, go and practice this asana and pranayama and all, what happens is the desire for food reduces because the love for the fitness comes inside, the feeling comes. And naturally, our digestive systems and it takes only that much of food. So you practice some Surya Namaskar and some of the asanas, you will know food. And about financial thing, it is your need. When you need more money, what for? You have to think. Our swan principles. Your ambition is you require more money. Don't try hard and you get more money. But find out, I'm getting more money at the loss of my health, my mentality, my emotion, the loss of that I am getting, or both way I am profiting. That money will be very good. Without money, nobody can live in this world now. But you have to find out that you don't get a loss of health.
Thank you, Mataji. There is another question from my side. Is it possible to see God through yoga?
See, God is an entity which is unseen. You can only feel. भगवान को अनुभव कर सकते हैं. You cannot see him, experience him. You can experience it because he is inside everybody. There is no place. Everywhere there is God. Then how will you see? You will have to experience. And by this time, when you have got that question, I think so you have experienced God several times, but you have not recognized him. We experience several times. You want to go somewhere and it is raining heavily. Suddenly the rain stops for the time you have to travel. And what is this? This is the experience, God's blessing to you. So we can experience God, His blessings and His closeness. And this cannot be explained to anybody. Only it is your own experience.
Thank you, Mataji. Audience, if you have any question, you can interact with Madam now. If you don't have any questions, can we wind up? Audience, do you have any questions left? Madam, there is one question from Manoj Kumar. That I have very general question. Many people think yoga is related to particular religion. How can this be justified? Is yoga related to any religion, any particular religion?
Related to any religion or any belief. It is only for human beings because it was taught by Lord Shiva many before the religions came. We can see, we can read in the books, historical books, that Rama, Krishna, everybody practiced this yoga. Yoga doesn't belong to anybody, any cult, or whether it is philosophy, nothing. Yoga is a different science for the upliftment of human beings. There to keep us healthy. If you are healthy and intelligent, then we can do something for the world. We can understand the creation of God. It is said that when God created this world, He created so many insects, animals, plants, rivers, mountains, everything, but He was not satisfied. Then He created man. Why He created? He said that wow, a man only can understand his creator. So this science belongs to that faculty where we can understand that there is one supreme power which has made us. So this yoga doesn't belong to any religion.
Participants, if there is no question, can we wind up? Yeah. So we come to the end of the session. We come to the end of the session. I thank Mataji, Sannyasi Swastimurti, for her wonderful speech on yoga. She covered various aspects of yogic principle, divinity, about Bhagavad Gita, about Shaktis, about the names of Durga, and also she covered on pranayama and the other spiritual aspects. I hope that this session is helpful to everyone, and I make a point that everyone take the blessing of Mataji, and on behalf of our college, JNN College of Engineering, and Department of Mechanical Engineering, and on behalf of all the coordinators, on behalf of the participant, I thank wholeheartedly Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for your
Techniques of yoga to practice every day or a few minutes or wherever you are. So please use them and use. Definitely you will improve in your health and definitely they will be useful to you. So thanking you. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat.
Namaste, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you.
So, dear participants, we will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. For test session. So, before starting the test, so there will be some kind of instruction given by our resource person. We will join tomorrow exactly at 10 a.m. Thank you, one and all. I thank our coordinator, Dr. E. Basuraj, for arranging such a wonderful session. I thank all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, MKS. Thank you.